Welcome back, everybody, to the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's Moses here, alongside his co-host Isaiah Gessner,
What's up, everybody?
and we're back with post Week 3 going into Week 4 NFL Power Rankings.
Man,
You guys showed a lot of love on the last video, so we decided to run it back this week. Zay, we have another wild week in the NFL, man.
man. This season is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Personally, a lot of changes to my list.
Yeah.
Not sure where yours is at. As per usual, we don't know each other's lists, but I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of differences. A lot of teams that weren't in last week that have cemented very solid spots. There's some teams that were in and that were pretty damn high that took a little step back. It's been a wild start to the year. As Mo said, a lot of love on the last video. We appreciate it. All of the support our channel has been getting lately. We thank you for everyone who comments, likes, subscribes, takes the time out of their day. You could watch thousands of these types of videos and you chose to watch us for whatever reason. So thank you. We appreciate you all. And Mo, let's get into this, brother. Anything you want to talk about before we get into this top 10? What are your kind of thoughts 3 weeks into the season?
So, just I guess I'll touch on a couple teams that aren't on my list.
Yeah.
Start with a couple 0-3s, and they're just fresh on my mind because we just watched them as we were recording this after the double header Monday night football slate. But the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals, two AFC teams with hopes to make the playoffs in a competitive AFC, and you're 0-3 to start the year. I probably should have been a better analyst and got a percentage on teams that go 0-3 and end up making the playoffs, but I am sure it's
low.
You're in the minority. Yep. If you do make the playoffs after starting 0-3, and it's just bad play. It's bad coaching decisions. It's just all around bad football, getting out-coached, outplayed by new players. Jaden Daniels setting the rookie record in NFL history for completion percentage tonight. Just a stupid game from him. But on the other side of that, the Bengals got to take a real hard look in the mirror. Same with Jacksonville, and you gotta start getting going here because 0-4, it's the percentages are just, it's gone.
Yeah. So I looked it up. 6 teams since 1979 have made the playoffs after starting 0-3, including just one since 2000. None of them have made a Super Bowl.
Wow.
I'll start with the Jaguars. This was a team I'm lucky I trusted my gut in the offseason. Going into last year, I said they could be in contention for the 1 seed in the AFC. And I felt great about them. About midway through the season, I felt really great about that take. And then we know what happened. What we've seen this year is nothing short of an embarrassment. It is embarrassing to watch the Jaguars fans or the Jaguars play football. To the fans, I'm sorry. This is inexcusable. Doug Peterson is going to get fired. This one isn't even like a debate. You can't fire Trevor Lawrence. Instead, he got this massive bag. And I like Trev, but I'm not the kind of guy who wants to overreact and say your season's done at 0-3. But I just read the statistic.
We're entering the witching hour.
We're in
Um,
and not the fun one, not the
yup,
Scott Hansen fun one.
yup,
This is a Mayday panic button.
yup.
The red is on 10. Like, it's just a bad product. It's like they don't even care.
Mhm.
It's it's crappy. Like I'm
Truly.
a team that has, and this isn't a team like the Titans or the Panthers who got their win this week. Congrats, Sandy Dalton. Big win. I'm glad they
Huge.
were able to get that off their back.
Yep.
Um, I saw a meme. Someone said Andy Dalton played in the AFC North during the 2010s. This was nothing.
Mhm.
This game
Mhm.
against the Raiders was a light pack for him.
Yeah.
But this is a Jaguars team that has the talent
Mhm.
at least to be 9-8, 10-7. They're at least that good. You're
Yeah.
0-3, and it's not like the Bengals have lost all 3 games, and they've been within 6 points of all 3 of them.
Mhm. Probably should have won all 3 of them, but
Like, you've been right there, and at 0-3, it doesn't matter. You're 0-3, but you're in those games. The
mhm.
Jaguars are getting slaughtered. I think ESPN had a statistic up. I was watching SportsCenter before we recorded. They put up a stat of number 1 overall quarterbacks and their longest losing streaks. Trev has done it twice. He's in the top 5 twice at 8-game losses and counting on his current one.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
man.
I
That's not it's not gonna get it done at the
no.
National Football League
It's
level.
it's not, man. Other teams before we get into the top 10, I touched on the Panthers, congrats. Um there's a real like legitimate argument that the Titans are the worst team in the league. They're really bad. It might be time to call the Will Levis experiment up. This man has given me material through all 3 of
3
his
weeks.
games.
Yep.
It's been and the coach and everything is just like, yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, it's just complete discombobulated. Like, what am I
Mhm.
looking at? Um, on a positive, I guess, before getting in, my Malik Neighbors take is looking real good. That
Yep.
kid is special.
Special.
We talked about him plenty. We tried to tell anyone who was like, he's not quite Marv level. No, he's near that, man. Like, he's very, very good. He's so good he might save Daniel Jones's job. He's
Yep.
that good.
Which Giants fans, I don't know where they're at, but
I Yeah, I'm praying he gets replaced if I'm a Giants fan personally. But Neighbors is so good that
Mhm.
it's like, wow, do we need a quarterback? Like, he's special. And the Sam Darnold take as well. We'll talk about the Vikings
Yeah, we will.
plenty, but
Plenty later.
yes, in the best way possible.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, those are enough of the doom and gloom. Nothing really to say about the Dolphins. There's no Tua. We talked about the backup position. You didn't invest in it, and
Mhm.
now, we're kind of reaping what we've sowed a little bit. I guess my one question before we get into it. I read you the stat of the 0-3 teams. Is there any chance any of these 0-3 teams make the playoffs? And if so, what one?
If any, it has to be the Bengals, I would say,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't know, man. They Ravens are kind of struggling too. The Browns have been the Steelers out of nowhere
I,
leading the division.
I'll be talking about them.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, but I'd have to say the Bengals, but it's
Like, that defense, the Commanders didn't score twice on 2 possessions in the game. The first time was when they took a knee at the end of the first half to go to halftime. And the second time was when they took a knee to end the game. So those were the two possessions
Yeah.
they didn't score. So I feel like that is enough. Burrow is not, things are just not clicking.
Mhm.
I guess I'll say it now. I don't think the Bengals make the playoffs. I think it's too competitive, and you've dug a
Yeah,
sizable hole.
a lot of teams that you weren't expecting to compete are competing, and they're just leapfrogging you. So
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy start to the year. Let
mhm.
us know what you guys think. Your teams, are you very? Do you think the Bengals make it? I think it's kind of a curious discussion. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the fun part. Let's talk positively about some teams, Mo. Um, who have you got at your 10 spot?
You know, it's funny because this is a team that wasn't on my list, and
Mhm.
I honestly don't know if they deserve to be on my list, but I really needed a placeholder. I'm pretty confident with the rest of my list, but there was
Mhm.
so much movement in my top 10 that the teams that got booted out, they were worse, but I'm not confident, but I'm putting them here. New York Jets at 10, sneaking in after absolutely embarrassing my New England Patriots on national television, unless you don't have Prime, which I don't blame you. But
Yeah, not
eh,
sponsored. I
that's a
mean,
different that's a different conversation. The Jets 2-1. Aaron looked amazing
very
in
good.
that Thursday night game, moving great, hitting his targets, making all the right reads, right decisions. Just usual young Aaron, as he hinted at in the post game.
Yeah.
They're combining this after a beating of the Titans, which, as you said, they are in debate for worst team in the league. So not sure how much that one moves the needle. And then
Mhm.
week one, obviously, they got kind of thrashed in San Francisco, but
Yeah.
that's a super tough week one game. Aaron, first game back from a horrific injury.
Mhm.
I'm just liking the stride that the Jets have been catching, and they have the opportunity to keep it rolling here against the Broncos, but not going to be an easy game, especially with the performance Bo Nix had this past weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Giving the Jets the nod at 10, man. They snuck in.
The Jets are a team I'll talk about here in a bit. They're in my top 10 as well. So I like giving the nod to them there. Before I give my 10, just to put it out there again, these lists for both of us are so fluid. They
Mhm,
change weekly dramatically. So
mhm,
if your team's not in here and they were here last week, it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. It's these initial thoughts right after the week is done. Um, and above all else, it's a grain of salt. We're not saying these are will be the top 10 teams at the end of the year, but I like seeing how it develops over the season.
yeah,
Um, the 10 spot for me, a bit of a dramatic drop, and I've kind of just got them here off of the loss because they kind of returned to the team that I thought they were going to be after being as high as 3 for me last week. I have the New Orleans Saints. It's a team I still wanted to include in this top 10. I think they still deserve to be here. It's just a bad game against the Eagles, who I'll talk about as well. I'll say right now next.
mhm,
I've got them edging out the Eagles edging out the Saints, but I've got the Saints here. It was a return to form. Derek Carr looked pretty bad. QBR of 69.1, 14 of 25, 142 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Wasn't the prettiest game. This offense just could not click. The Eagles doubled them in yards and some were just all over them. Losing
mhm,
15-12, the score does not indicate the real result. The Eagles handled the Saints. If it weren't for a certain guy who I'll talk about in a minute, kind of holding that back, um, it could have been an uglier game than it was. But I think the Saints are still a good team. They're still a team that deserves to be in this mix to win the NFC South. I still trust them. Alvin Kamara looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like vintage Alvin Kamara, he's been stellar. So
Mhm.
what these Saints do in the next couple weeks is they're one of those teams I have my eye on the most. I'm really curious to see what team are they? Are they the team they showed us in the first 2 weeks? Just dynamite offense, stud defense, or is it kind of the Saints you and I and a lot of people kind of projected second or third in the NFC South?
Yeah.
Probably not a playoff team. But I'm excited. I think they deserve to still be in the top 10, but I did move them back after that loss to Philly.
Yeah, man. I'll save my thoughts because I'll talk about them in a bit.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off then, since I already said it. My 9 is the team that beat them.
And I'm
And
joining.
locked in.
Yep.
The big thing with this, we're both going to say the same thing. Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, just terrible, terrible decision making in this game.
I texted Isaiah instantly
We-
whenever Sirianni did anything wrong throughout this game, and it happened numerous times. Going for it on a chip shot and then and then not getting it and then kicking a 61-yarder and missing. It's just like we're experimenting. We're playing Madden with our
Yes.
friends.
I was going to say that's exactly what you told me on text. Was like, dude, I feel like it's a video game.
Yeah.
This is like, and if it wasn't for Saquon Barkley, 156 yards, the dude is, talk about nuclear running backs right now. Should be in MVP discussions, legitimately.
100%.
If it weren't for him really stepping up and doing everything he can to prevent that from happening, and Dallas Goedert as well, with 10 catches, 170 yards.
Career highs. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Eagles lose this game, but they were able to control it, and it's so weird. I think my take with this Eagles team, they've got the talent. It's a team I continue to think on paper is capable of winning a Super Bowl, but barring maybe making a Super Bowl, at minimum an NFC championship, Nick Sirianni is gone.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
A 15-point explosion in the fourth quarter, saving them from falling to 1-2. Yeah, man. Like we've been beating this dead bush, but it's what it is. He needs to. We still, to this day, after how their season ended last year, how is he still a coach of this team? It's a mystery.
Dude.
I don't know, man.
And again, I don't like to be someone who calls for someone's job or says you need to be fired. We've talked about this on the channel of how much it would suck to have someone, if I'm at work and then all of a sudden I hear, man, Zay's doing a terrible job. He should be fired. There's so many people that it would be like, man, but dude, there's so many incredible coaches. There's so many people that deserve an opportunity, and Sirianni is the vibes guy. And the vibes are not right. They weren't right last year. And I think some of the things that really hurt the Eagles at the end of last year and going into the postseason and really derailed their season reeked their head again in this game. And again, they won. They're still in our top 10. And if they didn't have Sirianni, I'd feel honestly stronger about them. But I think the decision making is going to end up costing them in a big one. And
I agree.
These are kind of those signs of, hey, we're able to get away with things because of our pure talent, but they're going to catch up at some point, and it's going to suck when they do. So,
for sure.
Eagles at 9 for both you and I, but who have you got at 8?
At 8, I have your Green Bay Packers.
Let's go.
Man. We also were texting throughout this one, but Malik Willis with his redemption against his old former team. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
He balled out. Packers defense has been amazing. Zaire Alexander with another interception. I believe 2 weeks in a row, if not all 3
Yep.
weeks.
Mhm.
Just all around been looking great. Great coach, smart coaching with one of the best coaches in the league with LaFleur. Um, it's just been a beauty to watch, man. And I had to give your boys a nod. I'm not sure if you have them on this list, but I've been liking what I've seen out of Malik.
I do have them on this list. I'll talk about them in a minute.
Sweet.
But yeah, I agree with everything you said. Jair has been amazing, and I think I'll go more in depth when I get to the Packers. But to your point, like this Malik Willis stretch, I wanted 2-3. If we could be 2-3 when Jordan Love is back, we are perfect. And that's how I felt right after he got hurt against the Eagles. Um, they're 2-1.
Got your 2 wins.
And it looks like there's a really good chance Love is back next week. To Malik Willis, I've never, ever in my life been happier to eat crow. Ever. You will never see me happier to be wrong about something than how skeptical and negative I was about Malik Willis.
Mhm.
Malik came out and balled,
It
knew
was
when to
completely
take off.
different. Yeah.
Just in systems, man.
Mhm.
Look at that Tennessee system and look at Green Bay's. Look at the coaching. Look at everything. LaFleur has a system where a quarterback can just step in. It's
Yep.
what makes the Niners so great. It's what makes those great teams great is being able to plug and play. Obviously, Jordan Love is the better quarterback,
Mhm.
but it's a testament to LaFleur as a coach and what he's built in Green Bay with their culture
For
to
sure.
have Malik go out there, feel confident, and play some great football. So,
The big note I have is you guys are first in the NFL in rushing yards right now. Um, just
mhm.
pounding the rock, being efficient with the ball on first down, just playing smart football to get points and get wins in football games. It's been just really solid, as you said, the
Yeah.
system in Green Bay. So
Yeah. Um, I'll talk about them more in a bit, but for my 8, I have a team that I was higher on, but that got the brakes beat off them. They got a reality check here. I still think they're a very good team, but they are penalized for not just losing, but getting dominated. It's the Houston Texans. Still a great team, a team that I think is more than capable of winning a Super Bowl and being in the mix of one of the best teams in the league. But you got beat 34-7 against Minnesota.
mhm.
Uh, and we'll talk about the Vikings in a bit.
Yep.
I think a offense that's been solid, a elite quarterback. If you're not willing to call Stroud elite, he's at minimum borderline. Met Brian Flores. He met the ever so talented, the deserving of a head coaching position, an assistant coach who deserves coach of the year recognition in Brian Flores and what he's built in Minnesota. Uh, more than anything.
Mhm.
As for the Texans, this is kind of a worst case scenario type game. This is a game where you go, oh wow, the Stephon Diggs move. Don't know. Things haven't looked beautiful. Obviously, he caught those 2 touchdowns week 1, but you're getting some of those. Every bad thing that can happen with the Texans is going wrong in this game. I think they shake it off. There's not a ton for me to take away other than you ran into a tough-nosed and tough-minded defensive coach.
Mhm.
These were the results. I take it more as a fluke game more than a game that really, really concerns me on how I feel about the Texans.
Um, I'm actually on the opposite side of this. I am so worried that they fell out of my top 10.
Yeah.
All they were at 4 last week, and this loss had them drop out. CJ Stroud losing his non-interception streak,
Mhm.
which was an NFL record this week. They didn't have Joe Mixon, and it showed in the run game as they weren't really able to get anything going. Hopefully, he'll be back this next week and
Mhm.
be able to bring that spark that he has brought, because it was a big part of the offense as we saw this past weekend. But like you said, I might be jumping the gun a little bit. Still think they're an amazing team, a playoff team. Just a little bump in the road.
My thing too, when it comes to these lists, I'm way more accepting of anyone's list. But if you get manhandled 34-7, there's not really anything I can say to to be like, whoa, whoa, this happened or this. No, no, no. You got slaughtered.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And I think it does show, we talked about Mixon's impact and everything he meant to that team and means to that team and the juice he's provided in that offense. And without him, things look a little different there in
A little
Houston. So,
flat. Yep.
a team I've got at 8, but similar to the Eagles, we'll see. I've got an eye on them, but I still feel fine about the Texans.
Yeah.
Um, at 7, who have you got?
My 7 is a 3-0 squad, the Seattle Seahawks.
Me too.
All righty. Another solid win. I know it was against a Tua-less Dolphins who are scrambling on offense, to say the least. But in any case, it's very impressive holding an NFL team to 3 points.
Mhm.
They're 3-0, which is a good enough sample size to say that yes, it might not be been against the best teams in the league. You got the Broncos, you had the Pats, and now you had the Dolphins. But 3-0 is 3-0.
Yep.
Solid play from Charbonnet, from JSN, from Gino, not doing too much. They're getting the job done, getting results, and you can't really ask for too much other than that.
No. Um, as you said, this above all else to me is just giving the Seahawks the respect they deserve. You're 3-0. And
Yep.
if you're 1-0, doesn't really mean anything to me. If you're 2-0, means a little something. 3-0 is where we have enough of a sample size where no matter what teams you're playing, you're 3-0. Like almost a quarter of the way into the season, I've got to give you some respect. I think putting the Seahawks in this top 10 is only fair. I've got them the lowest of all of the undefeateds that are left,
Yep.
but I still think it's totally warranted. Uh, the 2 picks from Gino were not the best in the game.
Yeah.
There was a really bad one, deep pressure into his own end zone. It was not the prettiest game, but I really like Gino. This is a Seahawks team that when we were giving our hot takes and things, plug to that video, I guess, but I mentioned that I was slowly starting to like get this weird positive feeling about the Seahawks because I put them at last in the NFC standings video, and as time went on, I kind of felt better and better about them. As you said, the 3 wins are against teams that don't move me, and that play at the end of the half by Skylar Thompson, where he gets sacked from behind with no time on the clock,
Yeah.
is one of the funniest plays I've ever seen in my life. I
Yeah.
was in tears. Like we're not even gonna, he's just gonna stand there. Oh, we're out of time. All
Yeah.
right. Halftime we go. So we'll see. But the Seahawks deserve to be in this top 10,
Yep,
3-0, and hopefully can keep things moving.
for sure.
At 6, this is where I've
Can
got.
you flip our list? We got 5 and 6.
Yeah, I know how to count.
No, you're good.
No, I know how to count. I've had that. So Mo, I had that up the whole time. I wanted to see if the viewers knew, but
Yeah,
I was gonna fix it here
for sure.
for sure, bro. Anyways, I guess it's a perfect time at 6. I've got my Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
I've got my Green Bay Packers. The Xavier McKinney signing, 3 picks in 3 games. The brother is amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you, New York Giants, for letting him fall to our team. I am thankful every single day. On a serious note, this system, as I said, is just solid. Matt LaFleur deserves Coach of the Year honors. And I loved the way that they used Malik Willis. It was a lot of, hey, take off. Just don't be afraid to go and make a play. They weren't babying him. You could tell the playbook wasn't fully open in the way it is with Jordan Love or a starting quarterback, but you could feel that confidence and you could feel the Packers instill that confidence. There is a reason they've had, the Favre era to the Rodgers era to the Love era. It's a system and a culture that the Packers have really molded to their benefit. And this team can attack you with a variety of weapons. They don't have a pure number one, which is not something that is common in the league. Normally, there is an alpha, and the closest thing the Packers have is a Jaden Reed, who
Mhm.
is great. I absolutely love watching him, but relative to other number ones, he's not that upper echelon of receivers, and they attack you in so many ways. I love the work that Josh Jacobs has done, even though this week wasn't as great as previous weeks.
Mhm.
Still, just adds a new dynamic to the team in the pass catching game as well. So I love what this Packers team is building. I think with Love back, there's no reason this team shouldn't be in the mix to win the NFC North and
Yeah.
potentially go to the Super Bowl. I think that is the ceiling of this team.
Mhm.
And whether they make it there, we shall see. Obviously, I am a Packers fan, but I don't know, man. I feel pretty good. The 2 wins with Malik Willis, it's hard to not feel over the moon about where this season can go,
Yeah,
3 games into the year.
for sure, man. Like you said, this team first in the National Football League in interceptions with 7.
Mhm,
I had them on my list. They have earned my respect, and I believe, as you said, they should be a playoff team. Should be
mhm,
very excited for these next few seasons, especially as Jordan Love
mhm.
comes back, and seasons. The window's open.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I think the door is open. The only ones that can get in the way are injuries or themselves, but I don't know, man. I obviously being a Packers fan, I have a deep appreciation for LaFleur. But I really think without Aaron, he's just able to open up this team in a new way.
for
So
sure.
yeah.
My number 6 is the team sitting right behind your Green Bay Packers in interceptions at number 2, the New Orleans Saints.
Love it.
They are at 5 picks. We touched on them earlier as it was a snooze fest against the Eagles until it wasn't, and it turned into an exciting game.
Yep.
Both teams getting their first touchdown scores in the fourth quarter. First time we kind of see the Saints back down to earth this season, as people probably expected them to be. Derek
Mhm.
Carr kind of struggled for the first time. Kamara's, 26 carries, 87 yards, Olave tutty, but just gonna need more than 12 points. I wish we could have found a balance there between scoring 40 and 12, maybe like a 20 or so point game would be nice in there, so they can even it out,
Yeah.
stop being so absolute on both ends. I think this team has a legitimate shot of winning the South, unlike a lot of people expected. So
Yeah, I was not a believer. I really did. It just kind of felt like a team in purgatory going into this year where it's like you're not the worst team in football and you're capable of beating most teams in the league, but at the same time, like they're old. Their
yeah,
team is old. They've got some names that were great a couple seasons ago, but those guys have stepped up and they've shown, hey, we can be legitimate again. Like we're not past our prime. We've still got a little juice left. To everyone who played Rashid Shaheed though in fantasy football, I am sorry,
yeah,
but I like us both, including the Saints. Still, they deserve it, man.
hmm
They've been a pleasant surprise.
for sure.
Getting off to this fifth spot, hilariously enough, I've got the Jets, and this is pretty high. I will be
It's a
totally
huge jump.
honest. And normally I've been pretty skeptical of the Jets. I've been nervous. I know what that defense is. I know what Garrett Wilson can do. Brees Hall is one of the best running backs in football. The offensive line overall is pretty solid, but it's the strides by Aaron Rodgers. I am someone who has seen a lot of Aaron Rodgers, and most of the football I've seen from him has been pretty damn great. But coming off a big injury, being older, the oldest quarterback in the league by a couple years, I was skeptical. And we'll see how much of this is simply no offense to my brother, a Patriots fan here, but we'll see how much of it is just playing the Patriots and how
hmm
much of it is Aaron getting his mojo back. And I think it's a little bit of both.
For sure.
This is a team that, when clicking, when playing their best football, which is what we saw on Thursday night, is a Super Bowl contender.
Yep,
And it's a team you believed in last year. It's a team you continue to believe in this year. And as the way things are shaping up, I feel pretty damn good about what this Jets team can be. Um, we'll get a fun matchup though. Particularly, we'll get Mike Evans and Pat Surtain, or Garrett Wilson and Pat Surtain. I made a note that Surtain held Mike Evans to 17 yards on Sunday, and when yeah, and when you Pat Surtain
so
is one of the best corners in football, and I love those one-on-one matchups. I think the best case scenario, though, what really helps the Jets, Alan Lazard is him. When Aaron Rodgers is playing quarterback, Alan Lazard, no joke, is a different football player.
he turns into like a Randy Moss type.
Dude, and we saw it in Green Bay too.
Like, I'm not kidding. He'll have
No,
3 receptions, 2 touchdowns for 100, and it's like, "Bro, what? How are you doing this?"
and we saw it last year when there wasn't an Aaron Rodgers, but when Aaron has his guys, they are his boys. It's
Mhm.
why the Packers never spent that early draft capital when he was there. They're like, no, we'll just legitimately sign his friends.
Bring back Randall, bring back
Yep, we'll bring Randall Cobb. Like, who cares? We're good. And Alan Lazard is doing his thing. So I've got
Yep,
the Jets at 5, a pretty big leap, but I think more than
super.
anything, it's me course correcting how I've kind of felt about the Jets because of the play I've seen from Aaron week to week. And if he
Mhm.
can stay healthy and continue to improve, the ceiling is pretty damn high for the
Yeah,
Jets.
man. Yeah, I love it. I had him on my list as well.
Hmm.
I also have a little bit of a high jump here, and it's, I'm a little confused now that I'm, here, but I'm just gonna let it ride. I
Let it
have the
ride.
Detroit Lions at 5.
Love it. No. Go cook. Go cook.
Wait, no, not 4, 5.
Oh, I was
5.
gonna say, okay. See, I'm glad you caught me
Okay.
because my brain was like, dude, he left out a 3-0 team. But
Yeah, no,
go ahead
no.
and cook. Go ahead and cook.
Um, Solid win against the Cardinals, who were coming off of an explosive offensive performance. They only held them to 3 points in the second half when
Yeah.
things mattered. The only downside to that is the Lions didn't score in the second half. So definitely a little bit of concern there.
Yeah.
Laporta, um, Sir Glass himself is now injured again with some ankle something. So that's definitely a concern. Um, but they had a little bit of trickery with Jameer Gibbs, which was exciting.
Mhm. Play
Um,
was awesome.
Jared was solid, one kind of shaky pick, but they picked Kyle Murray off, made him throw his first pick of the season. Defense was sturdy, and defense wins championships. So
Mhm.
I had Detroit slide up a couple spots, even though they're still 2-1.
Yeah, I can't be mad. They didn't make the list, and it was kind of just the way the cookie crumbled. Where I wanted to include the Seahawks, I wanted to keep the Saints in there. I still wanted to include a lot of those teams, but I've sung the praises of the Lions continuously, as I feel like all football fans have. They can make
David
it out of the
Montgomery,
NFC. Yeah,
sorry, his
David,
is he he's a treat to
he really
watch.
is, man. That run
23
game.
carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. It's hard to find a better all around just get the job done
Yep,
running back right now.
yep.
We saw it against the Rams week 1 where that is all they did in overtime and they drove down the field and won the game.
Hmm.
When he gets going, it's pretty sick to watch.
Yeah. I will say the loss of Marcus Davenport is a very concerning one. It's going to lead to Aiden Hutchinson getting a lot more looks, but the dude is ridiculous.
Mhm.
So he's going to be more than capable of adjusting as great players can. But the loss of Davenport does hurt, and Frank Ragnow will also miss some time this year with the pectoral injury. So
Mhm.
things to watch, but it's the Lions. I have a feeling if they win next week, they'll be right back in the mix. So
For sure.
Lions fans, you're still fine.
Yep.
Um, at 4 now, which means all of our top 4 are 3-0 teams.
Correctamundo.
Who is your first of the 4?
I got the Pittsburgh Steelers
Me too.
at 4. And this is all I have written down for them. Week 1 at Atlanta, 10 points for the Falcons. Week 2 at Denver, 6 points for the Broncos. Week 3 at LA Chargers, 10 points for the Chargers. They have allowed 26 points in 3 weeks.
Like,
It is unbelievable considering we hear the things about Russ and oh man, Justin Fields got started. He hasn't had all the training camp reps. Like obviously he's been splitting because it's been a battle, but how are they going to look? Are the Steelers, is it over for them? They're in a really good division too. We're running the division. Justin Fields is going to play football, not do anything stupid, scramble when he needs to, be the quarterback that he was in Chicago that kind of started getting their mojo going, leading to Caleb.
yeah.
And he's going to win football games. And the Steelers and Zay, I have to eat crow because I did them dirty.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
believed the streak was over for Tomlin. This man might be on Belichick's heels, bro. He'd give him one more ring,
He's
maybe. This man is unbelievable.
he is incredible, man. I like Tomlin is so good, which is why anytime we do a season prediction, record prediction. I don't even care who's on their roster. I don't care. He is so good as a head coach that I got 9-8 penciled in. I don't need to see a schedule. I don't need to see a roster, anything. At minimum, they're just going to win 9. I don't
Yep.
know how. I don't know who they're going to beat because they've got a damn tough schedule and they're in a tough division. I don't care. Like they're that good. And since I've got them as at 4 as well, Fields has opened up just a new layer to this team with his scrambling and things like that. That
Mhm.
obviously the Kenny Pickett era and really everything post prime Big Ben has been missing. We talked about systems when it came to Malik Willis in Tennessee versus Green Bay. You look at the different system he was in. Justin Fields was in Chicago versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has the stability to nurture and have a quarterback who they don't normally have. They don't normally have a scrambling quarterback who can get out of the pocket. And Fields' ability to do that has totally opened things up for this offense.
Mhm.
It's gotten to the point where even if Russ is 100% good to go, I think it's in your best interest to keep Fields in as the starting QB. He's
Yeah,
been great, and
for
he
sure.
hasn't shown me any reason to bench him.
Mhm.
And we're 3-0. Like I don't see the incentive in doing
Yeah,
it.
100%.
So to the Steelers, I thought you would be 9-8, 10-7 in that ballpark. The way things are shaping up, you might be better than that. 3-0 to
My
start
hat
the year.
my
And
hat's off to you,
yeah,
Pittsburgh.
it's the culture, man. One of the best in football. Regard even though some of the players they had over the last 10 years were demons, but they're cooking. They're
Yep.
cooking. Justin Fields is cooking,
Mhm.
and the Steelers look poised to be a threat in the AFC.
Yep.
Um, as for 3,
I'm like 90% sure we're about to go 3 for 3 here now.
I think so as well. I have got where are they at? The Tennessee Titans. Play. I have got
Skull.
the Minnesota Vikings
Yep. Yep.
at number 3. Uh, talked about it before with the Texans. Brian Flores, man, just ridiculous. I, he is nothing short of a genius.
It's like poetry. I gotta
Yeah, like
it's poetry slam.
like right or a little golf clap in
Yeah.
there. Dude is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Sam Darnold
Oh my,
has
Zay.
looked so
Take it.
good.
Take
It's
dude.
I'm so
You
happy.
Yep.
So happy. I felt it, man. I really did. And this is no knock on McCarthy, but this was the time. The Darnold truthers. We were alive. We were out
Dude.
there. And we believed. Give him a real chance, a real one. And let's see what happens. Because it could be decent.
Yep.
And what we've seen isn't decent. What we've seen is great. And maybe it's just the Vikings having one of the best coaching staffs in the league, point blank. Um, but there's like no reason for me to expect them to slow down. There's
Mhm.
no concerns. There's no worry. They get pressure. They pass the ball well. The run game is solid. Aaron Jones, my guy, I will love him forever. Cooking. It makes me so happy. I don't care that he's a Viking. I want to see Aaron Jones go for 200 yards and 3 tutties every single week. Um, they're just great. I love what I'm seeing from this Vikings team.
It has been really fun to watch the Vikings just decimate and cook on both sides of the ball. Um, they are first in the National Football League in sacks. with 16 sacks through 3
Like,
weeks.
dude.
3 weeks, we got 16 sacks. It's just like you said, credit to the coaching staff, credit to the buy-in of the players.
Mm-hmm.
That it is so crazy. We go from their future quarterback tearing his ACL. Oh no, our season's screwed. Our future. What are we gonna do? Sam Darnold. It's like, hold on, wait, I still got a little something in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
I still got some kick,
Mm-hmm.
and we're seeing it, and it has been unbelievable to watch. And
Yeah.
like you said, I don't see a reason for it to stop. They got a
Oh.
solid test next week against your Packers. I hope Jordan
Mhm.
Love is back. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
But I like you said, man, this lots of unexpecteds
Yeah.
that we didn't see coming.
No, this was a team we both had at fourth in the NFC North.
Yep.
And this was with JJ McCarthy healthy. And I was just off. Point blank. I was off about that defense. I did not think they would be this good.
That good. It's yeah.
Like, that was more my concern than the offensive side. I believed in Darnold. Jettas is the best receiver in football,
Mhm,
point blank. Like,
mhm.
that's how I felt. But dude, this system is great. This team is great, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Vikings so far in the first 3 weeks of the year. So,
100%.
I feel like we're gonna run the table here, but go ahead. Who is your number two?
I got the boys in blue, the Buffalo Bills, with just absolute wrecking ball performance against the Jags. Um, Josh Allen really wants MVP. Their offense has been scary. And that was a big concern. Oh man, who's he throwing to? Who are his weapons? Doesn't matter. Give him someone fast. Give him someone who could run a route. Give him someone with hands. He'll put it right on them in a window, and they're gonna drive down the field. It has just been insane. First in points through 3 weeks. Defense has been really solid as well, which was supposed to be a big downfall with all of the exodus of last season. But this it's seeming like it's a crash course for an AFC championship.
Yep.
Buffalo, KC, and with my team out of the race, I'm all for it.
Dude, I've got the Bills at two as well. It was very tempting to not put them at one. They look
Yeah, dude, yeah, it was
like it.
close.
It
It was
was really
close.
tough, especially the way the Chiefs game kind of ended. Uh, I think there's a real legit case that the Bills are number one in the league, and if you got
Mhm.
them at one, you won't hear a thing from me.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen wins MVP. He has been like I can't overstate how good he's been.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. And in most eras of football, he's the best quarterback in the league. Like
So
he's
crazy. By far.
seriously like he's that good and they went post Diggs. There is, I think, a sense of addition by subtraction. And Stephon Diggs is a very good player, but I think the way maybe things were in the locker room, obviously, I don't know, but the vibes were not right. And I think sometimes getting those things off your chest and having them free you up as a team can help you improve. The Bills were already a good team, but they look on another level right now.
For
Um,
sure.
as you said, I think they're on a crash course to meet the number one team on this list in the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl yet again.
Yep.
So, with that, Yeah. I mean, like, we did this last week. I just don't really know what to say about that.
I like I mean, I'll give them back-to-back, uh, 4th down stops against Atlanta. Now, should they have gotten those opportunities? That's a different conversation for a different day, but
Yeah.
they in the position they were put in, they got the job done. Um, it was the second time, in the first 3 weeks that they've gotten punched in the mouth on the first possession of the game with the Falcons driving down their throat and scoring, but, answered the call. Patrick, cool, calm, collected. Still with, Travis struggling for whatever reason. They're still getting the job done with Pacheco out, P. Ryan and, Carson Steele looking great.
Mhm.
But Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah, the crazy
defense.
and
It's Magnola. Like, yeah.
yeah, like the usual subjects, Andy Reid or
Yep.
suspects, Andy Reid, like, yeah, and then you have Rashee Rice, 24 catches, league leading 24 catches through 3 weeks,
Mhm.
12 catches, against the Falcons, 111 yards and a tutty. I Yeah, it's tough because I feel like everyone already knows. It really they are our Patriots, so
Yep, it's the new gen Pats, man.
there's nothing I can say. I've said it all season. I will continue to say it every single NFL video we do this year. They're my number one until proven otherwise,
Yep.
and that's it. So
For that's all we got.
yeah, I don't. I'm not going to overcomplicate something that doesn't need overcomplicating.
For
So
sure.
got the Chiefs at 1, but there's our list. We got the same top 4. The way I felt about this, my top 4 was locked.
Yep.
Felt pretty good. 5 to unranked, very fluid. You could
Yeah,
move all these teams around. You could bump the Jets down. You could bump the Seahawks up. You could bump my Packers down. Whatever, I would get it.
for
So
sure.
that's what I got for my rankings. That's what Mo's got for his rankings. And if this video does well again, you'll see us next week with the same thing.
Yep.
So if this is content that you enjoy, the best thing you can do to indicate is view it, give it a like, give us a sub, comment, and we read all of them. We love responding to them and seeing what
Mhm.
you guys think. So thank you for tuning in.
Means the world.
And before we sign off, we know what time it is, Mo.
Song of the pod.
Song of the pod. What have you got for the people?
I got some new little Tekka. It's just in time again to save summer. I feel like I say this pretty often. But
Uh-huh.
Plan A, track 6, 24 hours. That beat is just floaty. Tekka's I was who was I talking? It might have been I was talking to someone recently.
Yeah.
Tekka is just one of those artists for me where he very rarely misses.
Yeah.
Like, he has a lot of sure, it might get a little played out and sound similar and whatever, but when you're looking for that kinda that vibe, that flow, it's there and it's consistent, and he has been in the roto the last few years. If you haven't
Yeah.
heard the new album, definitely some heaters on there, go check it out.
Mm-hmm. Love it. We listened to the Tech album together. Pretty solid, like the first half more than the second. But
Yep.
as you said, I feel like Tech is a pretty consistently good artist.
Mhm.
So love the shout out there. As for me, I've got Pressured Up off the DJ Mustard album with Vince Staples and
Fire.
Schoolboy Q.
Yep.
Great song. Don't necessarily love the album. There's a song with Roddy Rich and LA Mai and that one is pretty good. The Trav song's pretty good, but I didn't quite love the album. But the Vince Schoolboy song, As You Could Imagine, is pretty damn good. So
Fire, man. I'm surprised you didn't go with Plutoski though.
that
Eh, eh.
is one of my so Mo and I did a listening party together, and dude, when that song came on, we were both just like laughing. We could not believe that one of the goats put that out.
Incriminated himself with that.
And now we're seeing TikTok videos of Plutoski chopped and screwed. Plutoski. They're putting the song over the other song. I
Maybe he
don't know.
wanted the clout, bro. I don't, maybe it was a bigger move that we didn't notice.
You might be cooking. You might be cooking. You might have made a terrible song on purpose for clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
Gotta
directing
respect
you
it.
to it, apparently. So,
Gotta respect it.
I mean, if you want to hear
It's
a terrible
working.
song,
It's
yeah,
working.
you could go ahead and peep. That's it for the NFL Power Rankings video. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. We will be doing for our basketball fans. We did our top 10 point guards of last season. As the NBA season is there, we're getting some content up now, so it's nice and fresh when the season comes around the corner. This time on Friday, shooting guards, top 10. It's an interesting position. If you want to see some content there, turn the noties on and you'll get them for that. And that's what we got for this week. So
We a little side note as well. Baseball season's wrapping up. Our baseball
yeah, man.
prediction playoff video will be out soon in these next few weeks. So
And
exciting time, man.
this man right here cooks on those. I've never seen and seriously, not just because we're on a pod together and I'm trying to get people to watch. This dude's baseball takes are ungod. I don't get it. He's going 10 for 10. He's batting 1,000.
I
So,
hope so. I hope we can run it back this year.
hopefully we run it back. But
Mhm.
thank you for tuning in, and we will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.
Later, everyone.